were the better team with 11 players or 10, and I felt since the first minute that we were not there with the same intensity. So they deserve the win. The way to face the game, to understand that the other team help us with the send-off. What we need to do in every single moment of the game. If they have 10, let's push the opponent to the final third, to be near any transition, to be focused. Really to be focused in the game.
You've been in good nick up until tonight, 5 games unbeaten, so does this feel like it's a big step backwards?
Yes, especially in the way we play the game. Forget about the results. The results is also really bad, but I'm more concerned with the feeling that I had during the game. I think everyone should play better tonight.
Obviously your frustration is clear to see. What kind of things have you said to your players at the end of the game now?
Nothing. We have training tomorrow. I will deal with that tomorrow. I think they were the better team with 11.
All right, there you listen to the words of Ruben Amorim, the head coach of Manchester United, speaking last night after their defeat there at the Theatre of Dreams. That's Old Trafford, losing to the hands of Everton Football Club. Yes, not the best of results for the Red Devils, but for Everton, you tell that it was definitely a good 3 points in which they have that in their own disposal or at their own disposal at this point in time. But you also talk about the fixtures that lie ahead of these teams in their quest to retain their status there in English football, and also maybe the bigger picture to win the English Premier League title. For their manager, that's talking about David Moyes. Remember that's his first victory also as the head coach of any club side going to that's the Old Trafford. But like I said, in their fixtures, talking about both teams' upcoming games, it's definitely, well, let's say it looks into their future as they want to fight for survival there in English football. Well, later today, we'll have the Champions League games go down across the different centres, and the biggest game of all, it's the game set to go down there at the Stamford Bridge between Chelsea Football Club and FC Barcelona for the first time in 7 years. Both club sides are facing off there at the Stamford Bridge. And we'll take a listen to the words of both coaches, that's Enzo Maresca and Hansi Flick, speaking about how they have prepared their team going into tonight's encounter there at the Stamford Bridge. Above that, we have games also set to go down across the different centres in the UEFA Champions League. Ajax, the Dutch side against the Portuguese side, Benfica, Turkish side against the Belgian side, Galatasaray against Union Saint-Gilloise. We also have Bodo Glimt against Juventus, Borussia Dortmund against Villarreal. These two sides, they keep blowing hot and cold when we talk about their involvement that's in UEFA competitions. Manchester City, they'll be up against Bayer Leverkusen. Marseille will be up against Newcastle. Napoli against Karabakh. Slavia Prague against Atletico de Bilbao. These are the fixtures that are set to go down later tonight there in the UEFA Champions League, which definitely we'll talk about them as well on the show this afternoon. But then we also talk about some other developing stories. Nigeria, we have updates from that's the Super Falcons of Nigeria. We know that we are going straight into the international window for women's football. But for the 10-time African champions, what is the way forward for them? There has been no games definitely outlined for them to actually get themselves busy ahead of next year's Women's African Cup of Nations there in Morocco. But to talk about their opponents, their counterparts on the African scene, they have games lined up for them, and also just a better preparation for themselves at the Women's African Cup of Nations. In Nigeria, are we just counting on a sheer luck or we talk about the determination of these players to dwell when they wear the jersey of Nigeria and to represent the Nigerian national team? Well, all of these we'll discuss. The interesting updates from the world of tennis. We'll listen to the words of one man. His name is Roger Federer. Well, of course, we talk about him being inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame. Outside Roger Federer, we'll also take a listen to the words of Jurgen Klopp when he was asked, will he love to come back to coach Liverpool Football Club? Remember, for Liverpool Football Club, they are not in the best of that situation, position at this point in time. Defending champions of the English Premier League, they are 11 points behind Arsenal Football Club in the English Premier League. So all of these we'll definitely discuss on today's edition of the show. But believe me, you can be a part of the program this afternoon, where definitely we talk about Chelsea and Barcelona, that big game set to go down later tonight. You are a Chelsea fan. Remember that semi-final victory, where of course it was one of those magnificent journey Chelsea had en route to winning their first UEFA Champions League in 2012 when they defeated Bayern Munich there at the Allianz Arena. We'll talk about that Iniesta moment as well. But for this crop of players, it is all about the new players. For Chelsea, it's the youth. For FC Barcelona, they have the youth. But you talk about one veteran who definitely plays for FC Barcelona. His name is Robert Lewandowski. So all of these things I would actually enjoy on the show this afternoon. And the numbers to call are 070-55,000 949 08097,000 949. Or you can also call 090-62,000 949 just to be a part of the show and definitely give your score prediction of the game set to go down later tonight between Chelsea and FC Barcelona. And once again, the program is Scoreboard Reloaded right here on 32 FM 94.9. And you are listening to the voice of 𝐒𝐻𝐿 𝐶𝐈𝐒 on the program this lovely afternoon. All right, while you listen to that theme song, you know it's about time to talk about the UEFA Champions League. But we start straight from that big one, set to go down later tonight. I think it needs no further introduction of the game between that's Chelsea Football Club and FC Barcelona, where of course we take a listen to the words of that's manager Hansi Flick. Well, speaking about Chelsea Football Club, and thereafter we'll also take a listen to the words of that's Enzo Maresca, also speaking about the level of competition for Chelsea Football Club in this period in which they are going into. Remember, they would play against FC Barcelona tonight, and on Saturday in the English Premier League, they're playing against High Flyers in the English Premier League, Arsenal Football Club. But for Arsenal, on the other hand, they are not having it easy either. They'll be playing against Bayern Munich tomorrow. And of course, they would go to the Stamford Bridge. That's over the course of the weekend to play in the English Premier League. But first, let's take a listen to the words of Enzo Maresca, or Hansi Flick rather, speaking about Chelsea Football Club, what they are doing as a young team. Remember, I said for Chelsea, it's all about the youth players. There's Estevao, there is João Pedro, and there is Cole Palmer, whom might not play today. We also take a listen to the words of Enzo Maresca, speaking about that's Cole Palmer's involvement, if he's going to be playing today or he would play over the course of the weekend against Arsenal Football Club. And then We'll just listen to the words of Enzo Maresca as well. But first, let's take a listen to the words of Hansi Flick speaking about a Chelsea Football Club, their level of competition, and what they are doing as a young team. Enzo Maresca.
With the ball and without the ball, what kind of game do you expect from your team?
I think that, like he said before, it's one of the best team. I think also in the world. It's the evolution here in the club, the change in the club. It's very fantastic. There's a lot of young players, a fantastic coach, who give them an identity to play football. It's very great to see. Every match I see, I really appreciate about that, what they are doing, and young team with exceptional players, and for us, it's a really good match, good game to compete. And this is the Champions League. It's Champions League, and it's not easy. This Champions League, but we have the confidence. We believe in our strengths, and we will fight tomorrow, like we always do.
All right, there you listen to the words of Hansi Flick speak there about Chelsea Football Club, saying for his own club side, FC Barcelona, they are definitely going to do everything possible in their capacity to win the match later today. But then let's also take a listen to the words of Enzo Maresca speaking about the big week it is for Chelsea Football Club. The words of Enzo Maresca.
At the end of this week, then we have Leeds away, Bournemouth away, Atalanta away, so it's another big week. It's always a big week. They are all important games. They are, at the end, every game is 3 points. For sure, there are games like Barcelona tomorrow and Arsenal Sunday that they are important for different reasons. But I think the best thing for us is to go game by game.
In the front.
Game by game for Chelsea Football Club. There you listen to the words of Enzo Maresca. They're speaking about these two teams. But quickly, before we take a listen to the words of both coaches, furthermore, we look at the last outing by both club sides in a competitive game. That's talking about Chelsea against FC Barcelona. But for many Chelsea Football Club fans, they say that they could remember vivid well in 2012 when definitely the game ended 2-2 after winning 1-0 there at the Stamford Bridge. But then you talk about the Champions League when both sides definitely faced off against each other. Chelsea, the last time out in the club friendly, they won 2-1. But you talk about their competitive outing in the Champions League in 2018. Barcelona defeated Chelsea Football Club by 3-0. And in the first leg, it ended 1-1 between Chelsea Football Club and Barcelona there at the Stamford Bridge. But the most important performance from Chelsea Football Club as a club side against the FC Barcelona remains there at the Camp Nou when the game ended 2-2. That was in 2012, 24th April 2012, in which the game ended 2-2. I remember Ferran Torres getting that goal, and then the performance by Ramirez also in that encounter. And then you tell that was the victory also, or the draw, which made Chelsea qualify 3-2 on an aggregate scoreline and qualify to the finals, and of course win the UEFA Champions League when they defeated Bayern Munich there in the finals. So it has been one hell of a performance by both club sides. The competition, Peter Cech at that point was in goal for Chelsea Football Club, and Lionel Messi, whom at that time was one of the best players in the world in European football, didn't find the back of the net against Peter Cech, not until Peter Cech changed sides to join Arsenal Football Club before he eventually got a goal against Peter Cech. You also talk about the formidable defense in which Chelsea had back then. Do they have the same now? The likes of Wesley Fofana, Trevor Chalobah, Lenot Badiashile, that's Reece James. They have Malo Gusto. They have Marco Corella also, who is a Spaniard. So this defensive line, can they or do they hold the substance in which the likes of Bosingwa, Ashley Cole, we had John Terry, we had Tim Cahill, we had all of them. They held at that point in time. This present Chelsea's defense line. Do they have the same substance in which these guys had back in the day? The same can be said to FC Barcelona also. their midfield. Do they have the same midfield also when we talk about their performance then and now? Remember, it was Sergio Busquets, it was Iniesta, it was Xavi. But now, what do we have? Moises Caicedo, yes, doing all the dirty work for Chelsea Football Club. Enzo Fernandez, of course, big money transfer from Benfica to join Chelsea. He is doing it well also. But Cole Palmer, that is the question mark for Chelsea Football Club at this point in time. And we will take a listen to the words of Enzo Maresca. I'll speak about Cole Palmer, if he is going to play later today, but then let's see what the coach has to say about Cole Palmer. The words of Enzo Maresca.
Sure will be soon. It's already on pitch. It's already touching the ball. So, and the feeling is good.
Could he, even with the help of that boot, be available to go toe to toe against Arsenal on Sunday?
We are here for tomorrow game. That is Champions League game, and then after that we're gonna start to think about Chelsea, Arsenal.
But you're not ruling it out, even though you're not talking about the Arsenal game today. Could still be a possibility.
I don't think so at the moment.
I'm going to just get a bit more insight from you. We've heard...
All right, today listen to the words of the coach speaking about Cole Palmer there. Well, saying it's not sure if he would play later tonight, but still faces that's a further assessment ahead of that game set to go down over the course of the weekend against that Arsenal Football Club. But also, let's take a listen to the words of Enzo Maresca speaking about what is that motive definitely is going into the field of play later today against FC Barcelona.
Penalty was in the 96 minutes, and there were 6 extra minutes. So that was an easy one. A nice feeling, but now it's completely different thing. They are an unbelievable team, but again, we're gonna try our best to win the game.
Well, definitely Chelsea Football Club are trying their best to win the game. Well, before we leave the game in the UEFA Champions League, let's also take a listen to the words of Hansi Flick speaking about Marcus Rashford. Remember I said this morning that Marcus Rashford, he played in the first leg. He's an English boy. He played in the first leg against the Newcastle, or the first game against the Newcastle, where he scored a brace. But coming back to England, will he show why, of course, he's an English boy? And, of course, he can get the best performance for himself to play against English opposition. So that's a Chelsea Football Club. Let's take a listen to the words of Hansi Flick speak about that.
Bigger risk was it for you to take him on? And now he's your top scorer in Europe. How happy are you for him? And is he going to be ready?
Yeah, I'm really very happy. So he came back from a cold now, but he's okay. We'll decide it tomorrow. We'll decide tomorrow if he's playing from the beginning or maybe came in from a bench. But as you say, I'm happy with him to have him in our team for playing for Barcelona. You know, I follow him. The last time when we play against Newcastle, I also said this. I follow him, I think his whole career, and I was impressed about him, about his quality and what he's doing in the box, what he's doing in front of the goal, opponent goal. So, and he showed it also in Barcelona. This was really good. I think also for him was this change to live in another culture in Barcelona. The people are fantastic. We have nice weather. Not last week, but normally we have nice weather. And for me it's amazing. And also you can see now he's also smiling a lot. And if the atmosphere he can,
tomorrow's match is vital so that to go ahead in the champions.
Our goal is to reach the first 8 in the table. So, but we know also that it's not easy. It's not easy, and but last season also showed that if you not reach the first 8, you also can win the Champions League. So it doesn't happen. The important thing is that we give our best, that we play on the highest level, because it's Champions League, and also here to play in Chelsea. It's fantastic. So also for every player, I just can saw the pitch, and it's fantastic to see this. I have good memories, hopefully also tomorrow.
All right, today listen to the words of the head coach, Hansi Flick, speak about Marcus Rashford and also wanting FC Barcelona to win their game later today, and of course be in contention to finish in the top 8. Presently for FC Barcelona, where you look at the standing, they are 11th with 7 points from 4 games played. We only have 3 teams with the perfect record. They're in the UEFA Champions League this season, but 1 team with a further perfect record in the UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich, Arsenal and Inter Milan, they all have 12 points, but for Arsenal, 1 step further and also better is just because they haven't considered a goal in the UEFA Champions League. But then you take a look at the standings also, the top 4 or the top 8 are teams that will definitely occupy the automatic qualification phase into the round of 16 of this year's UEFA Champions League. Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Inter Milan, Manchester City, PSG, Newcastle, Real Madrid, Liverpool, of course, and they are the top 8 sides. And of course, Galatasaray, Tottenham, Barcelona, Chelsea, Sporting CP, Borussia Dortmund, Karabakh, Atlanta, Atletico de Madrid, PSV, Monaco, Pafos, Bayer Leverkusen, Club Brugge, Eintracht Frankfurt, Napoli. They all occupy, that's the playoff zone into that's the round of 16 of this year's UEFA Champions League. So, mouth-watering games are set to go down. Marseille against Newcastle. Remember, Newcastle, they got that victory over the course of the weekend, defeating Manchester City by 2-1. Manchester City, on the other hand, they would want to bounce back against the Bayer Leverkusen, also in the German Bundesliga. Napoli up against the Karabakh. They got a victory over Atlanta over the course of the weekend, but you talk about their substance also. No Kevin De Bruyne for a long time now, but how will they perform with the absence of Romelu Lukaku as well? But let's see how they would perform. And for Slavia Prague, they'll be up against Atletico de Bilbao, Borussia Dortmund against Villarreal. Like I said, these 2 teams, they keep blowing hot and cold in the UEFA Champions League. And you look at where both teams stand in the UEFA Champions League. Borussia Dortmund are 14th with 7 points. Villarreal, they are 32nd with 1 point from 4 games played in the UEFA Champions League. That's indeed a bad run of form for the Yellow Submarine. Well, we move away from the UEFA Champions League also and talk about some other developing stories from the exciting world of sports. Remember, over the course of the weekend at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton says he is not anticipating the upcoming season when we talk about the 2026 Formula One season, but he has been urged to calm down by the team principal of the Ferrari, Fred Vasseur, following the 7-time world champion's latest attack on his own form. Well, remember the 40-year-old said that he was eager for the year to end with 2 remaining rounds to come in Qatar and in Abu Dhabi. But, of course, Vasseur said he understands the reaction from Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion, just after the race, but he has to calm down and be focused on the next 2 races. No podium finish for Lewis Hamilton yet in the 2025 season from all of the races that have gone down. But what is the way forward for a British man? We'll talk about the interesting world of Formula One. Now, talking about Nigerian sport. In basketball, a Nigerian basketball official says that they are proud of 𝐾𝐈𝐒 after the Washington Mystics rookie was called up for the first time by Team USA, but sad that she will likely not be representing Nigeria internationally. We'll talk about this in the world of basketball. In the world of football also, a Nigerian has been called into the folds of the La Rojas of Spain, their women's national team. And then we also talk about Nigerian football now. How bad it is for Nigerian football in our quest to definitely prepare for the Women's African Cup of Nations set to go down next year. So now, it is this. The Nigerian women's team deserving better. 0 friendlies is a World Cup qualifiers preparation being taken seriously. That's on the African continent. But then for a competition that serves as a qualifier to the 2027 Women's World Cup, this is simply not good enough. While we talk about our preparation to the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. The 24th of November to the 2nd of December 2025, the international women's break definitely started yesterday, lining up to 2 matches, and no games has been confirmed yet for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. From the 24th also to the 7th March 2026, another window allowing up to 3 matches just days before the WAFCON starts. So what is in it for the Super Falcons of Nigeria? But then we cross our fingers, we wait for an official confirmation to see if Nigeria would have an opponent to play against in the course of this international window, and also the next one for the year 2026. 10-time champions will be idle. And of course, we have Zambia, Morocco, South Africa. We also have Malawi, Algeria, Ghana, Kenya. These are nations. They have friendly games to play, which definitely serves as a preparatory game also to the 2026 Women's African Cup of Nations. As for the defending champions, what is the way forward? This is how far we can go on today's edition of the show. Scoreboard Reloaded right on 32 FM 94.9. We'll come later, that's tomorrow by 7:40 to discuss some more trending stories and make it around in the world of sports. Reaction from the game set to go down today, and also a looking into the games set to go down tomorrow. That's from that's the UEFA Champions League and other football centers. I am SAMIES, your sports captain. I say, do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.